All right, folks, let's try this one. Let's see. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, I had to do the reboot on this. It seems like I have some significant audio issues. Hopefully, it's working through. I'm still trying to set some stuff up, so bear with me. I apologize for this. All right. Give it just a second for people to filter in here, and we'll see if can you guys hear me okay? Hey, Steve, looking for silver. What's going on? Okay, much better. Thank you. Still trying to figure out what in the world happened. I could not get my audio to work. The information wouldn't pull across. Um, yeah, what a day to have technical issues on a topic where we're going to be talking this exact same thing. Hey, Paula, welcome back.
Hello. Oh, you're live.
I think we're live and we're good to go. So now everybody can hear me. And I apologize, which was really bad because I had a bunch of people streaming into the other one and now I've lost them all. So they're like, this guy's a Yahoo. I hate technical issues, especially when you think you have everything set up correctly. But I'm still there's something weird going on.
They will come back. If you feed them, they will come.
The problem is that, like, I've got an error message on my screen that says I have no audio. Like, audio drivers are not installed, right? Like, there's something weird going on. I need to check my system and see what's happening. You guys can still hear me, right? Paula? Paula?
Yeah, I can hear you on StreamYard. I'm trying to get over into I'm muting because I'm trying to get over into
Well, if you can hear me on StreamYard, then you can hear me because I'm streaming through StreamYard right now.
Okay.
Which is it takes all the little fancy stuff away, but I'm okay with that as long as I can get into my stuff, I'm okay. Just aggravating as hell is what it is. So anyway, sorry about that, folks. I do apologize for the troubles this morning. Thank you for being in here. We can hear you, Siren. Thanks for doing that. I apologize. That was kind of a bummer. I hate to do that. But for those of you who partake, happy 420. Thank you for being here today. I'm just live reactions. Turn that stinking thing off. By the way, I want you guys to know, hey, what's up, Big Apple? I know I'm like Oregon, right? He's going to be like, you've been taking lessons from Oregon. YouTube and YouTube Studio made it really easy to turn that stupid heart off.
Yes.
Like really, really easy. So when you're in your studio and you're actually looking at that black screen where you can see the stuff that's there, you can see your stream and your stream health and how many people are in there. In the upper right-hand corner, you can actually click on a drop down and it actually allows you to turn off reactions there. I'm going to do a little short on this. This is an improvement that YouTube made.
Then turn it off.
Freaking cool. The heart is off.
No, I see it. I'm clicking on it right now.
It should be off.
Other people are clicking on it too.
Really?
I can see the heart. Can you guys see the heart? Obviously, people can see they're clicking the heart and the.
It's gone.
Okay, now it's gone. Yep, now it's gone. Yay!
So the reactions gone now. Yeah. Well, I'll have to let them know that that's a bug. Man, I need to quit watching Oregon. He's confusing the hell out of me. He's breaking my streams and.
You need to keep it simple.
Well, it's not complex. The problem is I'm having an issue with the system. There's something wrong with my computer. That's the problem. Because setting it up, I set it up the same way every day, but it's weird. It's just weird. Yep. So it's okay. I can revert back to the simple StreamYard. I just don't have all my fancy chit chat and see who's winning and all that other stuff. I don't get the same notifications this way, but it's okay. It will work. All right. Well, welcome back. Thank you guys for being in here. I appreciate it.
One other thing, did you send Eric the link just in case he wants to come up? He may not know that there's like a new link.
Yeah, I sent him the same one that I sent you.
Okay.
It was included in the same item.
Oh, okay. I didn't look at that.
It stays on until they refresh the stream. Sometimes it can. I hate that little heart. I wish they would do away with it.
Yeah.
It makes it really hard for moderators because it locks people into an area where they can't access the stuff. It's just it drives me nuts. Now, sometimes it's cool because you can do stuff like let people know that you can hear them or whatnot, right? But I mean, for moderators, it's a royal pain in the tuchus. All right. Well, I've still not got the same amount of people that I had before. People just gave up on me and moved on to something else.
No, they'll come back. Listen, there is an issue with YouTube with their notifications. I don't get notifications sometimes until like an hour after somebody has ended their stream. So people there is a real problem with the YouTube notifications right now. So they'll come back.
Well, but it's 30 minutes of IT issues. They've already moved on to other stuff, and it's fine. That happens. It's not a big deal. I mean, I don't mind. Somebody can watch this, look at it, and come back and go be like, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this. And AZ sent me an email. Gotcha. I'll check it out after the stream. Get into this. Hey, Wolf Pedro, what's up, brother? Good to see you. So let me go ahead and do my pleasantries real quick. I kind of blew past that this morning because nobody could hear me.
No, you did it. Just nobody could hear you.
Steve, looking for silver. I appreciate you being here, bud. Thank you so much. And thank you for the item yesterday. Being able to send that to Tiger was pretty cool. So I appreciate you. Siren, my mod, the emoji queen. Thank you for being here. James Schultz, thank you for being in here. I appreciate you being here. Seven and Joyce, thank you so much for being channel members. I appreciate it. What's up, Big Apple? How you doing, brother? Forget about it. Good to see you. AZ Coins, already acknowledged you. Vote for Pedro. Thanks again, bud. Appreciate all you do for the community just in general. Let's see. Dan McCumber's here. Hey, what's going on? Good day, Coach Magic. How you doing, bud? Good to see you. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody? I don't think so, but we'll see. All right. So today you got the big old peanut butter and jelly sandwich behind me. I was practicing my lip reading on the first stream. Yeah, see, that's the whole purpose of this discussion. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I apologize. I hate IT issues, especially being a technician. It's just aggravating when you can't get your system to work. So thank you all for being patient with me. I do appreciate it. So let's look at this. All right. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? How in the world does this equate to numismatics? And the question is kind of easier than it looks, right? Yeah, I've definitely got system issues. My screens are bouncing back and forth. I'm not sure what's going on. Looks like I'm having audio and video drivers issues.
You look and sound great to me. So
well, I'm just talking on my screen. I have multiple screens bouncing and jumping back and forth.
Oh, got you.
Like that's really weird. Are you going to eat? No, I'm going to talk about it. So when you look at this, it's sometimes it's really easy to go, this is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But have you ever really tried to explain somebody how to make one? Now, unfortunately, the situation that I have had with my machine and having to restart and load the stuff that I had set up isn't here. I'm going to have to just kind of walk through that. But again, it actually plays to the point I'm about to make. So when you look at this screen, you see jelly, bread, a plate, a knife, peanut butter, and some items back in the back that are probably the same things that you actually see on the sandwich. But the question is, what assumptions do I make by looking at this image that the people who are actually seeing this know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is the same thing that happens in numismatics. You can see a photo, but because somebody was explained something in a different fashion in a different location by a person who either did or did not know exactly what they were talking about, the information that you see on the screen may not be the same. So, for instance, live coin Q&A, or if you're a coin shop owner or you've ever been to a coin shop, they receive people all the time who take in normal 1977 cents and want to know why it's not worth $30,000 because they saw some comfy dude sitting around talking about how your 1977 cent can be worth $70,000. Making peanut butter and jelly. So let's kind of go through this. Okay. So, what do you need in order to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, it depends. Are you the type of person who likes to use a knife or a spoon? Do you like to use the little spatulas? So, in order to understand the way that you want to make your sandwich, I first need to understand what tools you have in your toolkit. I need to understand what you know about how to spread the item that you're going to be working with. What type of peanut butter do you use? Where's the ketchup and mustard for that? See again, it all that Matt T. It's exactly where I'm going with this. People look at different things different ways, right? So, in order to really understand how to make a sandwich, you have to understand and get people on the same page. That's very difficult when it comes to numismatics. And I think nobody in the chat can probably talk to that a little bit better than Paula. So, what I want to do is I want to walk you through how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then we're going to have a discussion about numismatics and how difficult it can be to um, to explain or teach people how to identify things like errors and varieties. Talk about differences between coins and rounds, right? There are coins that are bars. How do you explain those things to people in easy logical terms? So what I want you to do while I'm going through this exercise is I want you to catch me in areas that I miss. Now, you can be harsh about this, you can be critical about this. I want you to be very specific because as I go through this, there're going to be holes in the things that I do, and I want you to identify them because we'll talk and I'll explain why I'm doing this. So the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to ask a question. Good morning, Shift. How you doing? All right. So we're going to be making a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Now, first, bread. Now, bread can be in a number of places. It can be in the kitchen. I need to ask if you actually have bread. If you don't have bread, then we're going to need to go to the grocery store. We're going to need to go to the bread aisle and we're going to need to purchase the type of bread that you want to use to make the sandwich. While you're there, if you don't have jelly and peanut butter, let's go ahead and make sure you have those as well. Okay. So the first thing is we want to make sure we have all the ingredients that we're actually going to be utilizing to do the process in which we're going to be talking about. Once we have those, we get back to the house, we take them out of the car, we pull them out of the bag, we set them on the counter. Next thing we do is we need to open them up. So we're going to open up the bread first. The question I have for you is there a little twisty or a little plastic thing on the front of this? Why does that matter? Well, because how you take that off depends. You want to make sure that you can put the little plastic thing on because if you pull it off the wrong way or you bust it, it won't go back on the bread. If you have the twist tie, it's not a problem. Just untwist it the opposite direction that is twisted right now, and you'll be able to open that up. Now, just because you've untwisted the thing and you've opened up the bag doesn't mean you can get to the bread because some breads have a little container inside of them that is a hard plastic. You have to cut that plastic off in order to get to the bread. Now that you can actually get to the bread, let's go ahead and reach in, move the first piece, which is called the end or the butt of the bread, down, and let's grab the second and third slice of bread. And if you have a plate or a napkin available, please do so. If not, now would be a good time to grab one. So I just talked for about a minute and a half, and I haven't even started making the sandwich because there's a lot of stuff that you have to do in order to get that done. And this is where we talk numismatics. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Paula in because this is one thing that you'll hear Paula talk about all the time, and that is understanding the minting process. So, Paula, I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute. I'm going to have you go through just the general basics, like the major steps of what happens to get a coin minted.
So you want me just to do like basic?
Just basic, just like
Okay.
kind of run of the mill. What happens from the time that they create the planchet, or even talk about creating the planchet, right? What, or that the blank, excuse me, the blank,
Yes.
because it has to go through stuff before it becomes a planchet. What's that general
Okay.
process?
Okay. I'm gonna do. So the processes have changed throughout the years. I'm just gonna do basically what really just applies to us. And I'm not going to do the difference between like cents and quarters and nickels and stuff because that starts out differently now. So pretty much how it starts is that there's metal that's melted, right? It gets melted, it gets mixed, it becomes an alloy in some cases, and then they turn it into like an ingot, which is just a chunk of metal. Usually in like a rectangular shape. That gets heated up and it goes through rollers that make it into like a thin sheet, a thin sheet of metal. And then that goes through a blanking phase, which is like a cookie cutter type of phase. I'm not going to go into I'm not going to do details for you guys because it will take me an hour to explain in detail the different things. Like when they're blanking these sheets of metal, it's not like the blanking dies don't cut all the way through the sheet. There's like a cut and tear. So I'm not going to go into that type of thing. So anyway, these metal discs are stamped out of these sheets of metal like a cookie cutter. And they're just a raw metal disc, rough around the edges. And then after those are cut out, they go through what's called a upsetting mill. And what that does is that it brings the diameter down. It raises up a proto rim, which does two things. It helps to make the coin fit into the collar in the striking chamber, and it helps to hold in the metal during the strike. And it does other things too, but those are the two basic things that it does. So it rolls that out, and then it becomes a planchet. Once that's done, after it's gone through the upsetting mill, it becomes a planchet. You hear people talk about type 1, type 2. That really is inaccurate. Basically, you have a blank and a planchet. So once it becomes a planchet, sometimes it gets annealed, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the metal that they're using. And then it makes its way into the striking chamber, where it gets struck and ejected and is a coin at that point. Anything that happens after that strike of that coin, it doesn't matter. If it's a millisecond after that coin is struck, anything that happens after that is damage, whether it's done at the mint, outside of the mint, wherever, it is damage. So it's important to know that. So that's a basic rundown. The ANA has a YouTube channel they have a great minting process video. American Numismatic Association, if you guys want to get really down in the nitty gritty, which you kind of need to, but for this purpose, that's just a basic rundown of how it goes from a molten metal to a coin.
Thanks, Paula.
Sure.
All right. So we just went through this thing. That's a really easy, basic rundown, right? But how many of you were like, what's an ingot?
Yeah.
How many are like, what's a blank? Hold on, I'm not understanding. right? Now, the reason that it's so difficult is because if you were to explain, just as Paula stated, just if you were trying to explain that entire process
Mhm.
with every nook and cranny and nuance, it would take a lifetime.
Well, it would take a long time for sure. And you would have to go denomination by denomination because you have alloys, you have clad coins. They're all made initially totally different. Some are annealed, some are not. Like our shield, our copper plated zinc cents, they are not annealed. There's no need for that. But our copper cents are annealed. What's annealed? Heating and cooling, heating and cooling, heating and cooling, softening up, getting it prepared for striking. So there are a lot of little technical things that can take a long time to explain.
Yeah, and again, there's a level of experience when you're talking that has to be ascertained before you start explaining things. This is one thing that's really difficult. Now, I know he's not on, but I've got a good buddy. His name is Parvis. Now, if you guys work with, what's up, Ringmaster Ray?
Hi, Ray. I'm going to call you later today if that's okay.
If there's a gentleman by the name of Parvis, and Parvis is a great guy. If you guys are on copper coins and you do this, you know that Parvis, he loves to collect cents. He enjoys coins. He goes through, and when we talk about certain things, he's like, Frosty, I don't understand that. And we'll break it down and we'll kind of go through it. We'll make it really easy. And he's like, but that word, what does that word mean? And so we have to break those things down. It's hard to do that in videos. And so when you find educators, when you find people who do a really, really good job at talking and communicating the breakdown of coins, or it might not even be coins. You could be watching a car mechanic channel. You could be watching how to scrapbook. You could be watching whatever. People who make it really, really easy to understand are extremely rare because as a technician, as a person who deals with IT and stuff all the time, it's really easy to say, okay, we'll turn on your computer. I know people from experience who would be like, isn't it always on? Like, I never turn my computer off. It's like, well, we have to restart it. They're like, well, I did the restart. Okay, well then let's do. I need you to shut your computer down. How do I do that? Like, there are people who just don't understand, and it's not that
Like
they're
me.
stupid.
Like
They
me.
just don't. Yeah, they just don't know. So before you begin, you have to
On a need
ascertain
to know basis.
somebody's level, right? You have to kind of understand where they're at.
You do,
Just like,
and just to point something out that fits in that, you also have to make sure that you understand the question that they're asking.
I
Because
was
sometimes,
just going there.
yeah.
Yep. And we do that in the military. That's the talkback, right?
Mhm.
And so, from my understanding, what I heard you just say was this.
Right.
No, that's not even close, right? That's good communication. But just like with making this peanut butter and jelly, so here you see in this photo, you see a knife with some peanut butter on it. But you know what? I don't use a knife to make peanut butter and jelly. I use a spoon. So if I describe this to somebody and I have a knife, it might be more frustrating for me because it's not an implement that I use all the time. Right. And so it's good to help people understand. Now, for instance, we have stackers in the community, we have pourers in the community, we have people who love United States coinage, we have people who love world coinage, and they're not all the same. Coins are coins, rounds are rounds. We get that. But what's the difference? Right. So you have to ascertain that information. You have to know that. And so to be able to explain things on a really easy basis, you have to have some fundamentals in order to move on. Now, everybody in this, if there's anybody in here who doesn't know the difference between a round and a coin, let me know. It's not a thing of embarrassment. It's a question, right? Because if we don't know the fundamental differences, then we're not going to understand some of the things that people are talking about when they're talking about coin collecting. I have a good friend of mine. Do you toast the bread? You see, there's so many questions,
Sometimes.
right? It depends on your mood. So when you instruct people on how to do a process, it cannot be do. It has to be more questions than it does anything.
Yes.
And when you're doing a video, it's very, very hard to do this. Now, in the chat, so we're going to do, I'm going to do an exercise. And Coach, if you will, actually, you know what? I'll just use Paula's here because I can get quicker feedback this way instead of worrying about the items in chat. So Paula, we're going to walk through making a sandwich. Okay.
Okay.
Really easy. All right. Where do you keep your bread?
In the refrigerator.
Okay. Is it freezer? So do you do like a green bread?
It's just the refrigerator.
Okay. Do you have to toast it to warm it up, or do you mind the bread cold?
I don't mind it cold.
Okay. So if you'll grab the bread out of the refrigerator and put it on whatever counter that you normally would make food on, that would be great.
Okie dokie. I'm not
Okay.
going to do that, but
You're not going to do it. We're just going to walk through like
I'm
you
going to
at, right?
pretend I am.
Yep. Okay. Do you normally make sandwiches on a napkin, or do you like paper plates or regular plates?
I make my sandwich on paper towel
Okay.
because I don't like the crumbs.
Will you do a paper towel and put it on the thing, and then let me know when that's done?
It's done.
All right. Thank you. So in order to make a sandwich, we're going to have a couple things. Do you like jelly?
Yes.
Do you have any?
Yes.
Okay. Outstanding. So I'm assuming that that's probably in the refrigerator as well.
Yes.
So go ahead and grab your refrigerator. And do you have peanut butter?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you keep your peanut butter?
In my pantry.
Can you open your pantry up and grab your peanut butter and put it next to the bread, please? Okay. So next question I have to ask is, are these brand new? So the first thing that I need to ask is, when you open up your peanut butter, is there a film across the top?
No.
Okay. So you've already removed that. Outstanding.
Yes.
What about your jelly? Sometimes jelly are canned. So sometimes they'll have a little bit of wax inside the jelly. Do you have wax inside there?
No.
Okay. So you're ready to go. Everything is ready. You can see both your items. Do you prefer a fork, a knife, or a spoon to mix your stuff?
Knife.
Okay. Will you grab a knife out of wherever it is you keep it?
Yes, because I'm human.
I use a spoon or a spatula.
Well, I do if that's the only thing available, but come on.
You used to spread things like with the old cake spatulas, the little white ones?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I use most of the time. Jam versus jelly. It's a good question. But again,
either.
Yeah, she's good with whatever.
Yep.
Okay. So for the first thing is have you already pulled out, do you want a half a sandwich or a whole sandwich?
No, I want 2 sandwiches.
Do you want 2 sandwiches? Okay. So do you want 2 halves or do you want 2 whole?
Well, sometimes I use 3 pieces of bread, but this time I'm just going to do 2 whole sandwiches.
So you're going to need 4 total pieces of bread.
Yes, 4 pieces of bread.
So can you open up your bread? Do you have one of the little twist ties? Is it just folded over? Do you tie your bread?
I have a twist tie and it's folded over.
Okay. Can you unfold it, untwist it?
Yes.
Open it up. I'm assuming you don't want the end piece. So can you drop the end piece down and grab 2 pieces?
That was already done.
Okay. Outstanding.
It's in the
you
garbage.
have 4 pieces of bread, right?
Yes.
Okay. So put the 4 pieces of bread side by side so that they're spread out, because you're going to be putting peanut butter on 2 of them and jam on 2 of them.
Okay.
The jam and the peanut butter will be on different pieces of bread.
Okay.
So that when you put them together, it's going to be easier to manage. And you won't have to worry about mixing the peanut butter and the jelly into the container that you utilize. And sometimes that really drives people crazy. So let's not do that.
Okay.
All right. So first thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to, the containers are already open. So I don't know how much peanut butter you like on there. So why don't you dip your knife into the peanut butter and grab the amount that works for you. So if you want a little bit, if you want it thick, however much you want, go ahead and spread that across the top. Now there's a couple ways to do this.
Daisy said
That's
I'm
okay.
making a mess. Okay,
Paul
done.
is making a mess. So
Done.
there's a couple ways you can do this. You can spread it across, you can put it down and then spread it on, or you can just, take a little bit and spread it, take a little bit and spread it. However you want to do that, just cover the bread as much as one piece of bread as much as you can, and then do the second piece of bread as much as you can, and let me know when that's done.
Okay, done.
Okay.
Creamy mussel shell, except if I only have crunchy, I'll eat crunchy, but I like creamy.
All
Okay.
right. So now, do you mind if the peanut butter and the jam get into the other container? So you don't want peanut butter in your jelly.
I'm not obsessed with it being in there, but I would rather it not. So,
Okay, so if you will grab another napkin and wipe off that knife so that
okay.
there's no peanut butter on there, that'll prevent the
Can I just wipe it
peanut
on
butter.
the other piece of bread?
You can if you want to, but it's up to you.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a clean knife. Okay, let's go
Yes.
ahead and repeat that for the jelly. So let's put the jelly on the other two pieces that at this point do not have uh, anything on them.
Okay. Done.
Okay, so you got that all spread out. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and wipe that knife off. Put it in your sink or your dishwasher, depending upon which one you have.
Okay.
And then let's go ahead and put the lid back on the peanut butter. Let's put the lid back on the jam. Let's wrap your bread up, twist
Okay.
it around, put that thing back on, and then put them back into the places where they go.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to put the sandwich together. Now, you said you like to make them as triples. Do you want to make
Sometimes
two
I do.
separate sandwiches?
Sometimes I do jelly in the middle on both sides of a piece of bread, and I put two pieces together of peanut butter. Does that
Got
make?
you.
I'm not making any sense. Whatever.
Nope, I
I'll
understand
make a
exactly what you're
triple.
doing. Yeah, so you'll have the centerpiece will have jam on both
A
sides.
triple decker. Yes, thank
Yeah,
you, Coach's Magic. Yeah, a
yeah,
triple decker.
completely understand. You said this time that you weren't gonna do that, you were gonna
No,
do
I
2
just
separate
made two
sandwiches.
separate sandwiches. Yeah.
So I want you to take one piece of peanut butter bread and one piece of jelly bread, and I want you to take them and I want you to put them together where they line up,
Okay.
preferably where the 2 are on the inside where the peanut butter touches the jelly, and not put the pieces of bread together where the peanut butter and the jelly are on the outside.
Okay.
And
Done.
then go ahead and repeat that step.
Okay. Done.
And now you have 2 sandwiches sitting there. Go ahead and
Out the
enjoy. Thank you
way.
for this exercise.
Okay. Thank you. Now I'm really hungry.
All right. So
Everybody's gonna be eating peanut butter and jelly today. Hey, go
everybody's
out and
like,
buy
"What?"
some stocks. Go out and buy some peanut butter stocks.
Everyone's like, "What the hell are they doing?" So the reason for this is it's quite complicated to actually make something as simple as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There's a lot of questions that have to be done. Now, we're talking coins, right? Now that I got a 1924 Mercury dime, it's pretty beat up. But if I was to explain to somebody who's never seen a Mercury dime what a Mercury dime was, how would you do it? So again, when we do these videos, we have to understand a certain level of knowledge. We have to assume that we're talking to a certain level of people. And it's very difficult to be able to explain the processes of what we're doing and what we're talking about without going in depth. This is why we have to do
Yes.
series of things, right? We have to talk about multiples of items. And something as simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich kind of illuminates the fact that there's a lot of complexity. So we talk about the way Paula did it. She talked about it. I've never made a triple decker sandwich. Like it's
Oh,
just
you
not
guys are
something.
missing out. Come on.
But there was something that AZ Coin said at the very beginning, and I posted a picture there on the front of the original image. Okay. And the image, that's another thing, Muscle Shell. Do you like your crust or do you not?
I do.
Right? Do you need to cut those things off? But I had put jelly when I was younger. I like the jelly to be on the outside because I enjoyed that taste, that first taste of sweet before I bit into my bread. So I did peanut butter on the middle and jam on top. I did put the jam on the inside.
Sticky fingers.
Sticky fingers. It was a mess. But I actually put that image on there for a very specific reason. And that was because there's things that you do. People like different things. People like different stuff. And do you like the crust? Do you cut your things square in half? Do you cut them diagonally? There are so many variations to this, and people want to know different items.
Yes, you have to know what they sometimes the best way to teach is just to answer people's questions, right? Because sometimes like you said, they'll ask you what a mercury dime is. Now, I could go into an entire, spiel about it, and all they wanted to know was, is it 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents? That's all they want to know. You hear the old story about the kid asking where babies come from. They don't need the entire spiel of how it worked. They just wanted to know it came from the hospital, or whatever. So letting people ask the questions, you're letting them lead you in the amount of knowledge that they need, or the amount of information that they need. Sometimes all they just want is a basic answer.
And to do that, you have to ask clarifying questions.
Yes.
Right? Now,
Yeah.
I'm very bad, and you're roboting, by the way, Paula.
I am? Oh, crap.
Yep.
Okay, let me go
It's
into
okay.
my settings.
No worries. And I do that a lot, right? People ask me a question, and I'll go into the in-depth, and they're like, not what I wanted.
Is that better?
Yes. Well, it's good for now. We'll hear you when you talk a little more. But yeah, there's a bunch of different things. But the whole point of this is this was stemmed from one of my users saying that my videos they really liked my video. They liked the content, but they didn't really help them as a new coin hobbyist, because I really didn't get into the nitty gritty of coin collecting. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? What are you looking for? Right.
Right.
And they're like, well, it's just, you don't like, where do I start? And it's like, well, that's a great question.
You get a
So
coin.
why don't you tell me what it is? Yeah. Don't put peanut butter and jelly, or don't put coins on your peanut butter and jelly. Yeah.
No.
I am not trying to do that. What's up, freaking awesome? Good to see you,
You
bud.
could break a tooth.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, tone your coin.
Or tone your coins.
That was funny. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think I'm going to
Never. Don't let it ever go away.
That's awesome.
Too funny.
But again, you ask clarifying questions. So after talking to this person for about 15 or 20 minutes, what it wasn't that they were saying that my channel wasn't good, or that they didn't like whatever. It was that they really didn't know where to start. Like, they had no idea what to begin. They didn't know what to ask. And they're watching, I was saying things they didn't hear, they didn't understand what they were, but they don't know what to ask to be able to do so. And I thought, this is a really good time to talk about the fact that in order to fully understand a situation, we have to communicate.
Yeah.
Right. And we talk about this all the time. And we really, as Paula has stated this, I've stated this, Chuck, you've heard this from Chuck, you've heard this from basically all the folks at LiveCoin Q&A. I know that Jack and them have talked about this a lot. Joe Cronin, some of these people who look at counterfeits. And that is, in order to understand what's different about something, you need to understand what the good thing is.
Yes, what's normal.
What's normal.
Yep.
So where do you start? Look at coins. Like, very basic. Just look at coins.
Yeah, if somebody asks me where do I start, I usually say, how do you want to collect? Like, do you want to collect? Do you want to make money? Are you in it just to have fun? Do you want to collect a certain denomination? Do you like the history of the coins? You have to get a feel of what their objective is, Yeah,
vote for Pedro. That's exactly right. That is a very good point.
Yes.
Did you get that? Well, yeah, I got it. I didn't understand it, right? Am I making sense?
I ask that a lot. I say that. Yeah, it's like a habit. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
That's a very good point. You guys know what this is?
It is an old red book.
It is an old red book. And I have this because a lot of the information in it doesn't go out of date.
That's right. Up until, what does it say, 2007?
Yep, 2007. This was my very, very first red book. So why do I keep it? Well, there's a lot of good information in there, right?
Yes.
I don't use it for value, and it's not going to have any of my new stuff in there. But a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be looking for when I'm
Mhm.
looking at mintages and stuff are going to be 100-year-old coins anyway. The mintages don't change.
Mm-mm.
The mintage was the
The
mintage.
designer doesn't
Yeah,
change.
yeah. So
The
the a lot of the
diameter doesn't
basic
change.
stuff that I need,
Yeah.
right? I don't have to go buy this book every year.
No.
Waste your money doing it. You don't need to. There's too many resources. Now, I if you like to collect them, then collect the books, right? But as Paula stated, what is your intent? What do you collect? What are you trying to find? And again, ask questions, right? It's important that we do this. A conversation that I had yesterday with a stacker friend of mine who wants to do stuff in numismatics, wants to understand, buy stuff all the time, and it's like, stop doing that. Stop. Like, you need to know what you're doing before you start buying, 80, 90, 100, 200, $300 coins. You
Mhm.
got to know what you're looking for, right? You're going to get gamed. Stop doing that. Well, I found this really good deal on whatnot. Stop. Don't do that.
And how do they
Um,
even know it's a good deal,
well, yeah,
right?
but again, right? Are you taking their word for it? There are some people that are really good salesmen. Um, find that trusted partner, right? Find those people that you can bounce that off of. But until you're really good, and there are people who are really good in this hobby that will not use whatnot because you have 10, 15 seconds to look at a coin. There's no way for you to really get a chance. And lighting, folks, you can manipulate lighting to make that coin look BU, and it could be beat to hell. So you can't always trust your eyes. People can do things with filters on their cameras, and they can soft blur things to where it looks really good, and they can have lights coming at it from two areas, so they move it back and forth. It looks like there's a cartwheel. There's a lot of things that people can do to manipulate that. So you have to really understand a lot about if you're going to be buying from places like that. At least the one thing about eBay is that you have time to look at the photos, really kind of look at them. Now, people can doctor them and whatnot, but you have more time to kind of look at them. Um, but you got to be careful. Like, you have to really know kind of what you're getting into. Just like I'm not going to buy a $500 10-ounce silver bar. People will be like, "Oh my God, you're paying $50 an ounce." Well, if you put that stuff together, then yeah, I mean, people do that all the time. Now, if I find out that that bar is extremely collectible and there's a good story behind it and it's something I really want, that's a different story. But you got to know what you have, right? And so you do that by asking questions. So I wanted to talk about this today. And again, I blew a half hour with technical issues. But I just wanted to kind of utilize this peanut butter and jelly example because, again, this little skit that Paula and I did, which, by the way, was not planned. I just asked Paula to do this. She had no idea I was going to ask her to do this, um, because I want people to understand that it's difficult sometimes to teach. So I want to give huge props to those that are out there, the professors, the teachers, those that are trying to educate and debunk a lot of the crap that's online. Um, so thank you for
And
that.
be careful who you're listening to. Be careful who you're getting your information from, because that is just as bad as overpaying for something and not knowing what you're buying, not knowing who you're getting your information from, because
Okay.
there is, for every 99 bad channels out there, there's one good one. And I'm talking about channels that give information, TikTokers and things like that. There are a lot of huge channels out there that give the worst information. I mean, unbelievably bad information.
We talk
So,
about a few of them.
Don't go by the amount of subscribers they have and nothing like that, because that really is irrelevant. My friend Blaine Newport has a channel that you guys probably know nothing about. He's been putting out phenomenal videos. Frostbyte is not one of the big huge channels. He puts out good information. I mean, you guys just have to be really careful who you listen to. I see it all the time. I see people in streams where people are looking. Ida does this, and it drives me crazy. Almost every morning, she'll put coins up and put them, turn them around, and turn them over. Not a clue what she's looking for, but she's looking at them. But you see people doing that all the time, looking through coins, and they're asking the people in the chat, or the people in the chat are saying, "Oh my gosh, look at that! What is that? That's got to be an error." And they're taking their information from that, and that is not the way to do it.
I love Ida. It's so
I
fun
do
to watch
too,
her.
and she knows it drives me bat. You
It's
know what?
it's
Crazy
so
when she
fun to
does that.
watch. Do you see that? It's right
Yeah,
there. It's right
yeah.
there, Paula. Do you
No,
see that?
no, it's no.
Rotate the coin. Oh, where
Yeah.
did it go?
Or
Yeah, that's right.
I'll say, "Why are you Ida? What are you doing? What are you looking for?" "I don't know." She said, I'm hoping you'll tell me if you see something." It cracks me up. She is so funny.
I about spit coffee all over my keyboard.
Oh no, that would not be good for your computer.
She does that all the time. I
You
don't
know
know.
she does. I don't know.
But,
I'm just
again, now, here's the thing. If there was something significant, would she see it? Yeah, right, because she's looking. Um, but she's not gonna find a lot of RPMs and stuff like that because she doesn't necessarily know what to look for.
yeah.
And it's nothing against Ida. It's just, 'cause I love Ida to death, and she always makes me laugh. She's got a jar of nose from
I know she
pollen.
does, with my name on it. You're not gonna find anything if you're not looking. That
Yeah,
that
exactly.
that is absolutely true. However, even if you are looking, you're not gonna find anything if you don't know what you're looking for. And if you
And
don't have a
again,
basic knowledge of, like, the difference between what is damage and what is not damage.
yeah, and muscle cell, an old dog can learn new tricks.
That's
That's
true.
absolutely true.
Yep.
But if you're not studying the thing that you're trying to do, if you're
Yeah.
not actively looking for those items, if you don't have your resources available to you, then how are you going to verify that you have something?
Yep.
Right. And so, in order to be good at looking at coins or doing anxious, this community is full of nuts.
It's true.
Indeed. Um, and I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to promote his channel. But we have one guy he's exploding on YouTube right now, with his conspiracy and this ASE chipping thing. Right? It's nuts. The guy's a fool, but I want to be
Mhm.
very clear. People will act the fool and people will lie to you and give you bad information
Yep.
just because they get clicks from it.
Yep.
They don't care. So make sure that when you're searching channels, that you find people who genuinely want to help, that genuinely want to give you good information. And this is why Paula's on my channel all the time. This is why Eric's on my channel all the time.
I miss
This is,
him.
huh?
I miss him. I thought he was gonna be on this morning.
I thought he might come on. They've been busy.
He
They're
said
doing
he's
a
gonna
lot of
be on
stuff.
tomorrow for sure. I think he said Sunday for sure.
Okay.
So
But yeah, it's one of those things that, you find your trusted partners. You find people who want the same for you that you want for them, right? So try to um whoops, I hit the wrong button.
motivations are,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I interrupted you. I do that all the time. Horrible,
No, I
horrible
actually
thing.
kicked you out. I put you back in the
Oh, oh.
basement, so I had to fix
Find out
that.
what people's motivations are. Why are they doing what they're doing? Do they have your best interest at heart, or are they just wanting views and clicks and subscribers and you know?
CEMR. Yeah, and again,
Well, like
here's
what we do on Frostbites, we come up on Frostbites Usually every weekend. We
I
get
mean,
nothing from this. We don't get views from our own channels. We don't get clicks. We don't get subscribers. We come up here to help you guys, to teach you, So you know what our motives are.
I
It's pretty
I
clear.
have told Paula and Eric on plenty of occasion that I absolutely love sitting in my own stream and not saying a word
That's
because it's good information. I don't have to be your sole source of information. I want to be able to bring things to you that are smart. Um, and I'm still new to this. I make a lot of mistakes. Paula just corrected me, matter of fact, the other day when I said,
only when it makes a big difference. There's
well,
a big difference between a mint mark being on a master die and a
master
mint mark
and
being on
yeah,
a working
working
die.
hub or
Yeah,
working die
that's the whole thing. That's the whole reason there are no repunch mint marks anymore, because they're included in the master die
in the
as
master,
opposed to the
right?
working
And
die. So
it's again, it's a really easy thing. I knew what I
it was
meant.
just a slip of the tongue. I know what it was.
And so, but I probably should pull that down, create the same video and just record it correctly. And why is that? Well, do I care about clicks and subscribers? Yes, I would like to have them.
Of
Do I
course,
want to grow as a channel? Yes, I do.
of
But I
course.
don't want to do it on the back of bad information. I don't want to do it at the chance of I'm going to pick on Anxious. Anxious is a buddy of mine, so I'll pick on him. Um, I don't want Anxious to go into a coin shop and look like an idiot. And then come
Right.
back and go, Frosty, you made me look like a fool.
And tell them hey, I was watching a video from Frostbyte coins
Yeah.
and yeah.
Now, I will tell you this.
Hey, Lurch.
I had a really good compliment. You guys know Philip the Board?
Yep.
He texted me the other day and said, dude, guess what I found? Working with my coin shop, they had a big old bag of cents and he let me look through them. Right. And I was like, oh, well, cool. He's like, I found an 1877 Indian head cent.
Hmm.
And I remembered your video, went back and looked at it, and it has the week in on the back.
Hmm.
And I was like, sweet, right? That kind of stuff is like, hey, he used the information that was provided to identify one of the tells to make sure that it's authentic.
That's
There
awesome.
were some other things that were there, but he found an authentic 1877 Indian head cent. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, it is.
That's a really cool find,
That
right? He
is.
had to look through like 500 of them or something like that, but still, how
That's
cool is
the
that?
key.
Huh?
That is the key.
It is the key. Now, was it my video that helped him do that? No. It was the fact that he had watched it, he remembered it, and he went back and looked at it, was able to see that. But if I would have said, it's a solid N, he'd have been like, oh, this isn't the right one. Right? Frosty is
I'm gonna have
self-incriminating.
to watch that video because I don't know what that means.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna have to watch that video because I don't know what that means. I don't collect Indian head cents and
Oh,
a
so on the
solid
back,
N.
so you have the N in one, right?
Yeah.
And the lower crevice of one, it's a weak. It didn't there was something wrong with the die on the front
Gotcha.
side, so it's a weak strike. So in the
Okay.
1 cent, that
Yeah.
N is really, really soft. And it's
Okay.
kind of one of the markers for the 1877 Indian head cent. Kind of
Cool.
like the 1909 and the
SVDB.
deep or the shallow,
Yes.
right? It's basically that same basic thing. And
Oh,
so he
that's
had
awesome.
remembered seeing it and was looking through it, went back and looked at it. He's like, "Oh, wow, look at this. It's right."
You
Um,
know what I got to do? So, Mike from Coin Show Podcast, Mike Nodelman, Noodle, affectionately known as Noodle.
Noodle.
He started up an online coin club. Well, we had our first meeting, and guess who's in the club that I got to meet? Well, not meet in person, but like saw her face and talked to her. Brown Sugar.
Oh, sweet.
I was so excited. I know. She's
I
like,
love brown sugar.
I know Paula. Like, I know you too. I don't want to say her real name because some of you guys might not know her real name, but I was so
I know
excited.
brown sugar's real name.
Yeah. I was so excited.
Brown sugar sent me a very nice email.
I gotta send her that box. I've been
When I
promising her for
when I first came on, was doing some stuff, she sent me a really, really nice email. And ever since then, I've always had an appreciation for brown sugar. So, neat lady, neat lady.
Yeah, she's super sweet. You guys should join that coin club if you can. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot
Uh,
of really
Sunday Pete.
interesting people in there. So,
Live Q&A taught me about the duplicate star notes, and I got a match. So
yeah.
exciting. Y'all are great. Getting the right people, not just for views. Yeah, so
Thank you.
that's a good plug for you guys.
Thank you very much. That is what it's all about. That means so much. Like
And that's
that's why we
again,
do it.
it's those kind of compliments. Like I
Mhm.
want you guys to watch. Hey, there she is.
There's Amanda.
Lurker lady. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you.
Oh, you
And
did it,
lady,
Amanda? Okay.
okay, folks, you guys have heard me say this a number of times. Okay, this is and Paula speaks this out loud. This is a man's gamut,
It is. It's a hobby of
right?
kings.
But I'm going to tell you that there are two ladies here right now, Amanda and Paula, who are absolutely brilliant, and you would be foolhardy to not listen to their wisdom, right? Now, I know Amanda can run her mouth,
She's a talker, that girl. Can't get a word in edgewise.
but just the brilliance between these two, and I'm not knocking any of the guys that do this, please. But these ladies have come alongside me in my journey and helped me identify things and sometimes gently corrected
Sometimes.
me towards the correct answer. But again, it's important to make sure that you don't be careful who you blow off just because of their gender. Um, Paula
Yes.
and Amanda are amazing, brilliant people.
It's a
So
struggle.
please,
It's a
when they
struggle.
speak, take heed. There was something that uh, I'm trying to remember his name. He was the old general of the Air Force, and I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. That goes, when the quiet one speaks, that's where power emanates. So listen. So when Amanda does talk, folks, shut up and listen to her. She's going to impart some wisdom to you. It might be sarcastic as hell, but um, she's a brilliant lady. So
She absolutely is.
do
She
not let quiet
mm-mm.
be represented as weak. She's a brilliant lady. So uh, don't mistake that. Me just gifted 5 memberships. Outstanding
Woohoo.
me. Thanks, bud. I appreciate you. Let's see. Anxious was
Amanda
given.
got one.
Amanda got one. Outstanding. That
Woohoo.
wasn't planned, folks. We can't do that.
That's
Anxious,
awesome.
Coin and Card Hobbyist, Sunday Peak, Jeff Davis, and Crafty Dragon. Thanks, me. I appreciate you.
Woohoo. Awesome.
I look like I, I, I'm roboting myself. So I still got some screen issues. I think my system's trying to update or something. I'm not sure what's happening.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll get that all reset and figure out what's happening. We'll get that back for tomorrow.
Amanda's link. Amanda are freaking awesome. Can you drop her channel link? She has 2 channels because she still does stuff every once in a while on her own channel. Usually looks through quarters and stuff. But there it is. There's the Coins Club Facebook group, you guys. That's the online coin club. I don't have a coin club, so like Michael Kittle's coin club and this one are I like the Coins Club Facebook because I actually feel like I'm actually in a coin club. They're doing a meet and greet this weekend at Central States, and I can't be there, but
That's the better one. There's Amanda's channel. She's
Oh,
got
there
some
it
good
is.
stuff in there.
She does. She does. And she's on the Lifecoin Q&A too. So yeah, she usually will do like quarter coin roll hunts or $50. But oh,
Yep.
my grandson's being really noisy. I
That's
probably
okay.
should get
No worries.
going, Frostbite.
We're going to be bouncing anyway because we got
Okay.
the premiere train here in a few minutes.
Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Take care, Paula. All right, folks. Well, thanks for coming and joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Let me make myself big here. All right. I'm going to be, oh, thanks, Ringmaster Ray. I appreciate you throwing that in there. I know today was a little bit weird when it comes to the topic and using a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to talk about numismatics. But again, sometimes the simplest things are the hardest to explain. So when you're talking to somebody about something, do me a favor. Make sure you kind of understand their general idea of where they're at, kind of understand their knowledge level. And if you need to uh, explain things in a simpler term, walk them to the source, walk them to that place, walk through it with them, stop periodically and say, did that make sense? And if not, what can I do to make it easier? Again, I really want this hobby to grow. I really want to fight and combat disinformation. So if I can help you in any way, please reach out to me. Let me know, and I'll do the best that I can. All right, folks. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And as always, you know what? We'll see you in the streams. Take care. Yeah, there you go.